To many, the cluster of volcanic islands 60 miles west of Africa might be a surprising location for a major political public artwork. But here, on Lanzarote, a British artist has been commissioned to create a thought-provoking new sculpture park over the course of 3 years. It will cost €700,000. Wow. And will feature 300 new pieces. These are great. These are real people. These are real people. All these figures I'm surrounded by, they look amazing here, but they're never going to be seen this way. They're never going to be viewed in this kind of light outside, because these figures are going to go under the sea. A new underwater sculpture park will be the artist's fourth, after these previous installations in Grenada, Cancun and the Bahamas. It will be called the Museo Atlántico and has been commissioned by the government of Lanzarote. There's something profound about these images of humans and life in an impossible environment. As the materials encourage marine ecology, over a short space of time, the figures actually become living things. The artist behind this unique work is sculptor, photographer and environmentalist Jason deCaires Taylor. These are past projects.
These were some of the first projects that I started out with. They transformed so dramatically. You know, you can see on this photo, just on one figure, there's probably 50 different species.
And this is natural. You haven't encouraged this.
Yes, obviously the cement is designed so that all these species can actually adhere to it. But most of it is colonised naturally.
Some of the new work addresses Jason's environmental concerns, an army of everyday people distracted by technology, walking through life oblivious to the threat to the oceans. But another shows a new direction, a work about the modern-day migration and refugee crisis, referencing a grim yet classic 19th century portrayal of struggle for survival after a shipwreck.
If you can make it out, it's actually a mould of an inflatable dinghy. It's going to be a sort of modern recreation of the Raft of the Medusa, called the Raft of Lampedusa, which is the island off the coast of Italy where we're currently having the migration crisis.
So the story behind this is something very similar to what's going on now.
You can draw sort of many parallels with this horrific journey that these people went through. But in the same way that, you know, the people were abandoned on the raft, I think we're also abandoning the people now that are, you know, trying to make better lives for themselves.
The 13 figures to fill the dinghy will be life cast on real people, and the first will be modelled by deCaires. In some of the storytelling on this raft, do you have somebody in mind when you're looking, or do you find people that seem to be right for the job?
In this particular case, you know, Abdel has actually made the crossing from Africa himself many years ago, but he had a very, very sort of treacherous journey from sub-Saharan Africa. It's nice to have someone outside of the boat instead of everything being contained inside that space.
The artist has got to think about what he wants the model to say. He's got to fit on the boat, because when he's cast it, there's no going back. With the pose set, the casting process begins. It's going to be messy, intense, and because the material sets so quickly, very, very fast.
Poco frío. No te mueves, no te mueves.
I've not experienced casts made where they put the plaster straight onto the skin. You can see the model's shaking. It's cold. It's amazing how quickly they're working. 20 minutes. They've been 20 minutes of super intense work. So how long now before it sets? Before you
1 minute. But he's brilliant. He hasn't moved a muscle. Really good.
Cool.
Okay, one back section.
So here we're at part 2. Now he's got to have his whole head done.
Tranquilo, tranquilo.
I wonder if you can even hear, actually. His ears are full of alginate. It's quite unnerving looking at the head encased.
Abdel, 2 minutos más. Ok, Abdel, vamos a sacarlo.
Hey, muy bien.
There's the ghost. Muy bien.
This life casting is the first stage of a production line process. From plasticast moulds, figures are produced. They're then dressed with real clothes, which are hardened with glue. A final silicone mould is made and poured with cement. Abdel's figure won't reach this stage for weeks, but other sculptures are ready to reveal. So how anxious are these moments now? Do they break?
We have problems, yes. Sometimes air bubbles can get trapped inside, and so you'll be missing like a nose, and it's really hard to then recreate it. So once we've got all that fiberglass off, the silicone's pretty easy. It comes off like a sort of big skin. So that's good. Got an intact nose. I quite like cords. Like he's got cords on, and so the detail of the cords comes out. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the enjoyable parts of it is pulling off the skin. So basically, yep, he's ready at this point. Another one down from the 300.
One down, how many to go?
Yeah, we've still got another 260 to go. A lot of what I do in the creation of the pieces is think about it from a photographer's point of view. Obviously, you know, not everyone can access the underwater world, so a lot of it is about sort of communicating the artworks to a wider audience. This is all about creating a space that will draw in visitors and will take, you know, visitors away from natural areas and bring them to a space of their own where they'll have less impact on the environment. And to do that, you have to make something substantial.
The sculpture park will eventually cover an underwater area of 10,000 square metres. But 8 months of work lies ahead before the first set of sculptures will be ready for the sea, including the finished raft artwork. These pieces behind me will be 10 metres under the sea. It'll be fascinating to come back and see if he pulls it off.
Buenos dias.
A large number of the new works are ready to be installed on the seabed, including the Raft of Lampedusa. Migration has dominated the headlines since Jason began the piece, and the unveiling has attracted global attention. The figures are craned into the sea from a barge, but the raft is too heavy. It requires a bespoke, risky operation planned for the following day. Hello. It's great seeing it like this. It's full as well, so full of
It is full, yeah. We did run out of space.
Oh, God. And Abdel at the front. The piece conveys a hellish journey, and the figures of 13 migrants include some that haven't survived it. There's a kind of desperation about it, isn't there? I mean, he's striking, this fella.
He's sort of been passed away. I'm really pleased with his hand. That kind of also conveys a bit of a struggle.
It's strange, isn't it, being happy with this vision of doom and despair. Do you think it's important to talk about it?
Oh, yeah, it's vital. I mean, how many people have been lost at sea over the last year? It's just absolute tragedy.
What's going to happen with this now, then?
This, this actually presented a really big challenge because it weighs so much. 8.5 tons, which is slightly more than we thought. God. Ton more.
Is this your crane?
I'm hearing a loud sound, which sounds like a crane, yeah. So
here it is.
Yeah, this is it.
What's your biggest worry with this then, this lifting now?
If any like strap or any of the ropes touch the limbs, then they will rip them off or rip the heads off. Nada.
It's great, all the months of planning, and now it's the moment of truth. It's about to go to its home.
A la salida, no?
Is that the most difficult part?
No, this is easier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you worried?
Yeah, I'm always worried, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Open yourself up to me. Oh, look, Abdul, the last one.
He is the last man.
So this is stage 2 of the operation. This is a bit I think Jason's more worried about. The sculpture's laid on the bottom of the bed of the harbour here, and what the divers are doing is attaching straps to it to these floats, which they'll inflate, and that'll lift the sculpture off the seabed, and then they're going to tow it round into position.
Let's go.
The marina water is calm but shallow. There isn't much room to spare as the boat begins to tow the sculpture out to sea. But as they arrive in open water, there's a major problem. The boat makes an emergency stop.
El problema es que va muy pesada de un lado.
The tidal currents have destabilized the rigging, and they're perilously close to losing control of the artwork. What's happened? What's gone on here?
At the moment, it's not floating flat. It's like one airbag picking up too much weight, so it's kind of like in the water at an angle, which has bad implications because the angle of the straps could be caught around the head or could be damaging.
The divers decide to add an extra airbag to try and right the sculpture in the water. Sounds like there's been some damage. Did he say there's been some damage?
Yes, yeah. So one arm come off.
Were you expecting something?
No,
before you set
well,
out? Something. You're hoping not.
I was hoping not. No.
The damaged arm will be fixed later. With the sculpture refloated and levelled, its journey around the coastline is continuing. And to avoid further issues, the boat will travel very slowly. Tensions remain high. Ready to drop?
Ready to drop, yeah.
We've arrived at the site where they're going to drop the raft now on the seabed. But it's taken us 2 hours to get from just around the corner there, which is not even a mile. At the moment, they're trying to work out exactly where it's going to drop. I suppose once it's down, they don't want to move it again. They'll open the valves on the top of the bags, and the bags will sink, and the raft will go down, hopefully, to the right place. There it goes, it's going. Everyone's still really tense up here. There's a lot of men down there, there's a lot of ropes, there's a lot of equipment, and the deeper it goes, the less you can see, so who knows what's going on. I think that's it. It's in the place it's meant to be. It's been 7 hours since the start of the operation this morning, and now I'm able to go down and see this raft the way it was intended to be seen. Here goes. Looking down onto the raft, it looks beautiful. There's something quite eerie about it, and the whole scene, it's like a theatre set. These sculptures really should be viewed in their intended place. It's wonderful. But it won't just be divers who can visit Museo Atlántico. The local glass-bottomed tourist boats offer an easy view of the artworks too. So it's done.
Done, yes, yeah, finally. Years' work, and yeah, it's finally now in place.
Are you happy? I mean, how you feel right now about it?
Yeah, just hugely relieved.
So, what's this, about halfway through then?
Yeah, this was one of the first 3 installations. So.
There'll be another year of making more figures?
Yes, now we're in the sort of intensive making part.
The boat feels important. It's got emotional weight to it.
Oh, certainly. I want it to be seen as a reminder of our responsibility and how we're part of the cause of this problem. We're not just observers.